I'm Ceil, and we're going to talk about success and continuing the success and how to handle what turns on when you feel bored. Okay, so the first thing is, in order to continue that level of success that you finally hit, that you finally made it, is you need to continue focusing and doing that one thing that works really, really well that got you to that level. Okay, so that's number one. Pretty simple, pretty easy. The second thing is recognize what you did well, write it down, document it. Okay, now that's not too hard to do, but you would be surprised, and I'm including myself here, when I have a success, when I achieve something that I've really been working hard on, and someone asks, well, what did you do? What were the steps that you took? And a lot of times I can rattle off a lot of the things, but to really, really nail it down to the exact steps that I have done takes a little bit of time and a little bit of thinking about, because you don't want to leave anything out, because all of those steps helped you get from point A to point B. And I will tell you, with the number of people who I have coached and seen that level of success that they hit, and when they really started achieving what they really wanted, a lot of times they can't tell you the things that they did. And even though sometimes the things seem so small, they're not, because they all add up to successful actions. So recognize what you did and recognize those successful actions, and writing it down and document it is key. Now, number 3 is the discipline to continue doing those successful actions. And being able to, if you watched, let me backtrack. If you watched the Facebook Live last week, I spoke a lot about boredom, how to conquer it, and what's really behind boredom. And so what can turn on, as you know, is feeling bored. And boredom, I want you to know, is just a masking emotion. It's like tape, like masking tape, duct tape, that's masking an emotion, okay? So if you start to experience boredom, okay, just realize that's a red flag. Pull off the tape, pull off the masking tape, what's behind it, and identify what is behind the boredom. A lot of times it's past pain, past fears, anguish, agony, heartbreak, failure, all those things that we typically pull away from, veer off from, go elsewhere, absent from. Why? Because we don't want to experience it. We'd rather be continuing our success, not in that kind of stuff. I mean, can you imagine? I was thinking about Tiger Woods. Can you even imagine how many times he practiced the same stroke over and over and over again before he had all those wins on the PGA Tour and was like the best at that time? Can you imagine the same stroke he had to, make over and over again to get himself in that position? But here's a little secret. Remember, when you're practicing and you're doing those successful actions, you always need to be aware and present that it is a new unit of time. It's not yesterday, because you're a different person the next day in the next unit of time, whether it's 2 or 3 times a day. It's still a new unit of time. So with that, boredom is a red flag. If that ever turns on when you're doing your successful actions, or if you're not even up to doing successful actions and you're feeling bored, again, look at what's behind that. Sometimes you'll feel dull, sometimes you'll feel irritated, and there are ways to handle it. The most successful way is to identify what's behind it, what's it masking you, okay? What is it masking? So with that, continue your successful actions, do one thing that you can do well, that works really well, recognize what you're doing, write it down, document it, and then create the discipline. Get that ability to be disciplined, to continue doing it over and over and over again.